All right, let's start this practice at the top of the mat in Tadasana. So finding the feet about mat width apart, lower belly pulling up and in, arms by your sides, palms facing forward, and just take a nice full breath here. And we'll take a sun salutation to start off. As you inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. As you exhale, fold it forward into your version of Uttanasana. Inhale, lift halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, come down to the mat, hands down, step back to plank, and move through your version of a vinyasa, knees, chest, chin, or Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, back to child's pose or downward facing dog. Just stay here for about 3 breaths. From here, find your way up to Ardha Uttanasana, lifting halfway. Exhale, fold into Uttanasana. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, hands come to the heart. So we're going to take downward facing dog on a wall, or if you have a railing or a banister or something that's secure that can take your weight, go ahead and move to that. Take the arms just a little bit lower than shoulder height. Start to walk the feet back and sink into the shoulders and the chest area. Now, if you are inversion free, just be mindful here. We don't want the head to drop down. Keep the neck nice and long. And this is a good lengthener for the spine, but also opens up the chest and the shoulders and the heart area. So send your breath through the upper ribs, the shoulders, between the shoulder blades, etc. One more full breath here. And as you inhale, start to come up to vertical. Good, let's come back to Tadasana. Bring the hands to the heart. Now that you're here in Tadasana, shift your weight over into the right foot, release the left heel, and pull the thigh up towards the chest. We're not so much working the balance here, but we're going to work the outer hips and outer thighs to get them nice and warmed up. So take your inhale again. As you exhale, you're going to step back to Warrior Two. As you inhale, come back up to Tadasana, floating the thigh up. Exhale, Warrior Two. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, bring it out. Inhale, bring it up. Let's take it one more time. Exhale it back. Inhale, bring it back up. Now from here, we're going to take eagle pose. Let's start with the legs. Soften the right knee, cross the left leg over, wrap the toes if you can, or touch the toes to the mat. Take the left arm underneath the right, flip and wrap, or if the shoulders are tight, hug. Staying here for a few breaths. From here, we're going to untangle only a little bit to come into cross-legged chair. So let the arms untangle and reach upwards by the ears. The left leg will untangle and just so the ankle crosses. From here, bend the standing leg and enjoy the hip opener and balance all at the same time. One more breath. Good. Release. Step back to Warrior One legs. Bring the hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers. Roll the shoulders back. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, move into lightning pose. So the right knee softens. Knee tracks over the center of the foot. This makes our hips a little bit more secure, but also opens up the chest as we pull the hands back. One more breath. Release the arms, let them shake out for just a second. Hop the back foot forward about a stride, Parsvottanasana. Bring the hands behind, either hold on to the wrists, the forearms, or if you're ready for it and you can practice this, reverse prayer. Inhale, lift the chest, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, start to hinge forward. Breathing here for about 3 or 4 breaths. From here, shifting forward into warrior three, you can release the arms and interlace the fingers instead, or you can just let them float out to your sides. Find the weight onto that right foot, left leg floats upwards. Strengthening our standing hip, keeping the left hip dropping downward. From here, reach the fingertips down towards the mat, soften your standing knee, find your high lunge. Use the blocks if you need them or want them, and then lower down into low lunge. Once you're there, lift the chest. On your next exhale, hands come flat onto the mat, find your way back to plank, and move through your vinyasa. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, child's pose or downward facing dog, your choice. We'll stay for a few breaths. Making our way up to the top of the mat. Inhaling to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, hands come to the heart. Let's work the second side. Shift your weight over into the left foot, right heel lifts, then let the thigh lift up. Take a nice inhale. As you exhale, open up to warrior two. Inhale, float it back to Tadasana, letting the thigh float in front of you. And then exhale, open up, warrior two. Let's go 2 more times. Inhaling to Tadasana with the thigh up, and then exhale, open. Last time. Coming to the top of the mat now, and finding eagle pose. Settle into that standing knee. Right thigh crosses over the left. Either wrap the toes or let the toes touch the mat. Once you're settled in the legs, right arm floats underneath the right, flip and wrap or hug. And we'll stay here for about 3 more breaths. Gently untangle halfway, come into your cross-legged chair, arms up by your ears. Let the ankle cross over the thigh and settle into your chair pose. Inhale, come up through vertical. Exhale, step it back, warrior one legs. Bring the hands behind, interlace with the opposite thumb on top. Roll the shoulders back. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, hinge forward into your lightning pose. So we have a nice straight line from the crown of the head to the back foot. Shoulders are engaged, opening the chest. Breathe here. On your next exhale, release the hands, let the shoulders move, let the arms move around. Then hop the back foot forward about astride, Parsvottanasana. Hands come behind. Again, hold on to the wrists, forearms, or if you've got reverse prayer and it feels good, go for it. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, start to hinge from the hips. Staying here for 3 or 4 breaths. Transitioning now into our warrior three. Hands can stay where they are. You can extend them behind and interlace the fingers again if you'd like, or release them and let them stay by your sides. Shift the weight forward into the left foot, lifting the right leg, strengthening that standing hip, dropping the right. Fingertips reach down for the mat, soften your standing knee. Come into your high lunge and then lower down the back knee for low lunge. Move the hands back a little bit if you need to, and then inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, settle into those hips. On your next exhale, hands come flat onto the mat. Find your way back to plank. Move through your vinyasa. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, child's pose or your downward facing dog. And again, we'll stay for about 3 or 4 breaths. One more breath here in your resting pose. And let's find our way onto the belly. So whatever way makes sense to you. But once you're down, bring the hands by your sides, palms flat onto the mat for locust pose. Press down through those hands. On your inhale, lift up everything else. Engage the glutes, the hamstrings, pull the shoulder blades together behind you. Nice space behind the neck. And keep breathing. On your exhale, lower down, turn the head to one side, arms and legs relax. Moving into round 2, press those hands down into the mat. Inhale, lifting up, straighten out the head. Energize the back body. As you exhale, lower down, head to the opposite side, arms and legs relax. Feel free to shake the hips a little bit from side to side here, if you feel tight. As we move into round 3, if you feel ready for bow pose, feel free to move into it. If you're not into bow pose, then just do another round of locust. So on your inhale, go ahead and lift up. If you'd like to go into bow, bend those legs, grab onto the feet. On the next inhale, you press the feet into the hands and lift. On your next exhale, gently release. The arms and the legs come into crocodile pose, stacking the hands. Bend your legs at the knees and gently windshield wiper from side to side. This is a nice release after that deep back bend. Bring the legs back to neutral. Let them extend long behind you. Bring your hands underneath the shoulders. Take a nice inhale. As you exhale, scoop the belly. Press up through tabletop, and then gently press back into your child's pose. Stay here for about 2 more breaths. Good. From here, come up onto hands and knees. We're going to step forward into lizard pose. So take your right foot, carry it forward, bring it to the outer edge of your mat, flex the ankle, outwardly rotate from the thigh. Then bring the hands to the inside. You can always use your blocks here too, if you want a little bit more height, if this is intense. Come up onto your hands, lift up through the chest, and as you exhale, give a little twist to look at the back of your foot. So leaning over or looking over to the right. You'll feel an additional stretch, hopefully, not only through the waistline, but through the hip flexor. Good. On your inhale, come back to neutral. Move the blocks forward and out of your way. And we're going to heel toe this front foot across the mat to come into pigeon pose. So heel toe it across. You can move your hands out of the way any way you need to. Once your foot is across, gently lower down the shin bone and the knee. Sit up tall through the chest and let the hips sink into your pigeon. Feel free to prop it up here if you want to or need to. And staying upright to get the heart and chest opening as well. Now, for those of you that like king pigeon, or it's also called mermaid pose, feel free to move into that if you feel ready. What that means is that the back leg would bend up. You either hold on to it with your hand or let the toes slide into the crook of your elbow, and the other arm comes up and around. And if you can connect the hands, connect them. If not, get as close as possible. If you're in king pigeon or mermaid, whichever one you like to call it, gently release. 2 hands on the mat. Find your way into plank. Take a vinyasa, move to down dog or child's pose, your choice. Take one big breath here. And let's move to the other side. So now the left foot is going to step forward to the outer edge of your mat. Shift into that low lunge. Flex the ankle. Outwardly rotate the thigh so you're in pigeon pose. Use the blocks under your hands if you like. Inhale, lift the chest. We'll stay here for one breath before we move into our twist. Right, so now from here, lifting a little bit longer through the waistline, and then start to twist around to your left, looking back at your foot. It's okay to let the hips shift a little bit to get that nice stretch through the right hip. On your inhale, come back to neutral with the spine. Exhale where you need to, move the blocks out of your way. Heel toe the foot across the mat, finding the pigeon pose. Lowering down onto that shin bone and knee. Inhale, lifting through the chest, blocks under the hips if you need it, and stay lifted through the chest. Shoulder blades pulled together behind you. And same option applies here. If you'd like to go into king pigeon or mermaid pose, feel free to do so. Bending the back leg, reaching back with the same arm, letting the toes go into the crook of the elbow if they reach, and seeing if you can bring the other arm up and over. And don't be surprised if one side works and the other doesn't to come into the full pose. Wherever it is on whatever side is perfect the way it is. Yeah, that's where we are in this moment, and so it is. If you are in king pigeon or mermaid, gently release. Bring the hands to the top of the mat, move any props out of the way. Find your plank. Take a vinyasa, down dog, or child's pose. And then we'll take rest here for a few breaths. Beautiful. From here, we'll work our way into reclined bound angle pose. So if you are inversion free, bring your blocks to a position where your head will be higher than the rest. If you're not inversion free, just go ahead and lay flat on your back. Once you are down there and you are comfortable, bring the legs into reclined bound angle pose, arms out to your side to a T. Just stay here and breathe. We have a bit of a chest opening and the inner thighs get a nice opening here as well. Slide your hands down to the legs. Use the hands to bring the legs to parallel, and then let them extend for your Savasana. Arms remain out to your sides, palms up, at a comfortable angle, but no higher than the shoulders. Legs are mat width apart and falling to their natural rotation. If it's cold where you are, bring a blanket over you to stay warm. Let your eyes close and take rest. Start to deepen your breath. Find energy in your fingers, toes, wrists, ankles, hands, and feet, starting to wake up the arms and the legs. Extend the arms up overhead by your ears, legs long underneath you. Give yourself a nice big stretch from fingers to toes. And hug the knees in towards your chest or bring the feet flat, mat width apart. And then gently rock from side to side. Roll onto your right side, coming into fetal position, using your bottom arm as a pillow for your head. And gently press yourself up to a seated position. Eyes remain closed. And either bring one hand to the heart and one to the belly, or press the hands together in front of the heart center in prayer. Take a few moments here to check in with how you feel after this practice. How do you feel physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, and spiritually? I'll take a few moments for some gratitude, something you're thankful for in this moment, and a few reasons why. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste. Have more time? Check out one of these beautiful practices over here, and there's more suggestions in the description below. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.